ways to lose money in multifamily real estate investing. That's right. On this channel, if you've watched anything that we put out, all we talk about is multifamily real estate, how great of an asset it is, how it's recession resilient, how it produces enormous cash flows, how it makes us build extreme wealth all passively. Now, I'm here to tell you that there's no perfect investment. This investment class, just like any other investment, has its drawbacks. And if you don't invest correctly, it'll leave you with sleepless nights, empty bank accounts, bankruptcies, and torn apart finances. If anyone ever tells you there's a guaranteed return, or you can't miss, or this is a can't lose opportunity, don't walk away. Run the other way, because there's no such thing as a guaranteed return in any investment, not just in real estate, in any investment. Once you decide to take hard-earned capital and put them into a vehicle and you put it out in the world to go and make you money and come back to you, hopefully grown, there is always a risk. Once that money leaves your bank account, there's a risk that it may not come back to you. I mean, there's other risks involved with leaving your money in the bank account, but we're not going to go into that today. Sometimes as dentists, we have a tendency to chase the shiny coin. If we get offered an investment which promises like, oh, listen, you can invest in this new COVID vaccine, or we got this trampoline park, or we have Herbalife or some type of nutrient that you can do a Ponzi scheme with and sell it to your friends. And I know this for myself because I've seen colleagues. A lot of my colleagues, before they invest in a real estate deal, they'll just shoot it by my desk, which I'm more than happy to do. I love analyzing deals, and I help to giving feedback to anyone investing in real estate, if anything that I can help with. Anyway, and this deal came along their table where it was a guy who had watched a couple of YouTube videos, read a couple of do-it-yourself apartment building books, and was trying to pull off a complicated deal of buying raw land and building an apartment building structure. I spoke with him because we had a conference call between my two prosthodontist friends and this guy. And I don't think that he was an optimist. I do believe he was of sound, honest character. And I don't think he was trying to deceive my friends. But a deal like that is so fraught with risk that there's better ways to do it for the amount of return that was promised. And on this video, I'm going to teach you where the pitfalls of multifamily real estate is and where people often go wrong. And multifamily real estate, even though it is the best asset class, in our opinion, a walk of wealth, there are still key areas that need mitigation of risk, where you try to bring the risk levels down by tilting the table in your favor. And like I always say, my followers, they know this, the more knowledgeable you are, the more knowledge that you get and educate yourself about an investment class or asset, the better you do in terms of not only making money, but greatly reducing the chances of losing money. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Johnny Walker. I'm a successful endodontist with multiple dental practices, as well as a self-made multimillionaire in real estate investing. On this channel, I teach dentists and high net worth professionals how they too can build cash flow, build substantial wealth, all with strategies that don't take much of your precious time. As busy professionals, this is the commodity that we most lack. Investing heavily in real estate has allowed me to take a giant step back from my clinical practice to a very enjoyable part-time hours where I can serve patients to the best of my ability at a pace that is comfortable. I spend enormous amounts of time with my wife and children, take 6 to 8 vacations per year, and I'm allowed time and freedom to do things that I'm truly passionate about. Investing in real estate and educating my fellow dentists so that they don't have to make the same mistakes that everybody else did, so that they too can live a life of true freedom and fulfillment of human potential and contentment. I believe the best way to do that is by freedom of time. And the best way to get time is where you have passive income that can cover your monthly bills and expenses, which decreases your need to be actively working to bring in income to support your family. All right, let's get into it, guys. Number one, market cycle sensitivity. Multifamily real estate as an asset class, just like any other type of real estate, functions on a cycle. Number two, the market and submarket. It doesn't matter how good the property is and how beautiful it looks if it's in a market where people are leaving the town or the population isn't growing rapidly. These are not conditions for rents to keep increasing. The only way that we can create value is by time increasing rent, by over time increasing rents, increasing net operating income, and banks ascertain value based on multiples of income via cap rate. And that's how value is created. If we don't have tenants to pay rent and to pay higher rents because people are leaving a net negative migration out of the town, the property is doomed for failure or marginalized profits. So key here, always purchase property in great markets. Due diligence is paramount. Another area of concern potentially is the lack of liquidity. Now, lack of liquidity means that the money is tied up. Oftentimes, a sponsor will call this a lockup period. An average syndication deal can be anywhere from 2 to 10 years, with the average about 4 to 5 years. So when you invest in these type of deal, you can expect your capital to be tied up for at least 5 years. So the risk or concern here is that if, for example, you had some type of emergency or family crisis or something where you needed the money back sooner, there probably is not a mechanism that you can get it back, not easily. Therefore, my advice to you when investing in these multifamily deals, these investments should be with capital that you know you won't need, at least not immediately. Right? This should not be the only money left over in your bank account and now you've taken that money out and now you're living paycheck to paycheck. This is not a situation that you should put yourself in or your family, and I would highly dissuade you from investing in a deal where you will need the money back soon. You have to have a long-term mindset with these where you can be rest assured that it's sitting in a good asset class that's providing you cash flow and building your wealth over a longer period of time, at least 5 years. So that is the mindset you should have. And I don't necessarily consider it a risk point as long as you've done your homework, you've done your due diligence, and you're not in a position where you will need the money back for an emergency. In fact, as an aside here, every dentist should have some type of reserve. Most financial pundits will tell you should have at least 3 to 12 months of expenses in the bank before you even consider investing. 3 to 6 months is more average. Obviously, 12 months or greater, even more security. And the last one I want to talk about is the lack of control. This is kind of a subcategory of operator dependence, but the lack of control means that since this is a passive investment where we are not involved with the day-to-day operations, we typically don't know the inner workings of what's happening behind the scenes, the inner workings on a day-to-day basis. If you are somebody who derives pleasurement or enjoyment of knowing what's happening every day on the day-to-day and want to be actively involved, this might not be the type of investment for you. If you're someone who gets pleasure out of watching a property go from point A to point B, you may get much more enjoyment, and I would persuade you to go for other type of investments such as a single family home or a duplex or a quadplex where you might live in one of the units and do the renovations yourself or hire somebody and help and be involved with the day-to-day decisions. Be involved with which finishes you want, which faucet tip you want. On these syndication deals, you have to remember you're a limited partner. And to me, that's a great thing. Right? But a limited partner means that your risk is limited only to the capital invested. That means that you are not subject to guarantees on a mortgage or loan. So if there's a default, usually the operator's on the hook, not the limited partner, right? So this greatly mitigates risk because people can't come, for example, someone gets murdered on the property. You cannot personally be sued because your liability is limited only to invested capital and your loss is only limited to the capital invested. Whereas if you are in the single family home or a duplex, you are on the hook for the loan. If you don't make the payments, the bank will take that from you. Liability increases and your active role in time is involved. And again, if that's what you enjoy, I recommend you go that way. We here at Walk of Wealth think passive, passive, passive. Passive income is the key to freedom. Click on the next video for more wealth building tips. Until then, see you next time. Johnny Walker, see you guys.